To the program, let's begin with the elusive solution in the corridors of justice, and the Kenyan Supreme Court has been plunged into a potential crisis after mediation talks failed between Deputy Chief Justice Kalpana Rawal, suspended Judge Philip Tunoi, and the Judicial Service Commission in the retirement age dispute. The two judges are opposing their retirement at 70 years, and as KTN's Murimi Mwangi now reports, the last hope of resolving the dispute out of court now lies in a meeting to be held tomorrow between the JSC and Law Society of Kenya.
It was the first sitting of the five-judge bench to hear the retirement age dispute involving 70-year-old Deputy Chief Justice Kalpana Rawal and suspended Supreme Court Judge, the 72-year-old Philip Tunoi. The two are challenging their retirement at 70 years. But after sitting for only an hour, the court adjourned for the better part of the day. This was to give dialogue a chance in the mediation process, spearheaded by the Law Society of Kenya.
If we give this process, mediation, a bit of chance, there is a likelihood that perhaps we can resolve all the issues that are on the law.
The president of the Law Society, Mr. Okello, went to see my client, and my client is agreeable.
Some of them are suggesting mediation as a way to ensure that Justice Rawal does not remain Deputy Chief Justice and that she walks out. That's why they're suggesting mediation.
But as the court resumed in the afternoon, it was clear that there was still no solution in sight to the deadlock which has now threatened to cause a total paralysis of the country's top court.
The negotiations which was conducted by the President of the Law Society have completely failed. Nothing substantive, my lord, was put on the table for the respondent to look into. Our instructions, my lords and my ladies, that we proceed with this application.
We are just wasting time. Mr. Mwite and Mr. Ahmed have said, have made the position very clear of what the ground stand for. They want the cases to go on.
I'm a party from the High Court. I've come the whole way to the Supreme Court. Then an LSK which comes in this morning locks me out of the proceedings by talking to other parties. It's not acceptable.
But in a final attempt to reach a middle ground, LSK will on Friday meet the 12 members of the JSC, among them Chief Justice Willy Mutunga and Supreme Court Judge Mokin Wanjala. If the sitting does not broker any out-of-court deal, then the dispute will have to be heard and resolved by the Supreme Court starting Monday next week.
Parties cannot be stopped from talking. I think that is the spirit of Article 159.
That just means there's some untidiness. That we should have judges sitting, hearing a matter in of the court, and then the same judges again go and retire and meet some of the parties to negotiate. There's some untidiness.
We'll give the president of the Law Society a chance to meet the JSC. I convene the JSC, so you can meet the JSC tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. 2:30 p.m. We resume on Monday at 2:30 to either receive a settlement or to hear the applications.
Now, with all advocates sticking to their hardline positions, then that meeting between the Law Society of Kenya and the Judicial Service Commission is the only remaining shred of hope to the resolution of the retirement age stalemate that is now threatening to cause a total paralysis of the Supreme Court. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News in Nairobi.